Welcome to another episode of Ruminations of Redrum, the horror podcast of the Ruminations Radio Network. I'm your host, Kyle, with a K. Today we have joining me two of my special baby boys. First, E is for Ian, Ghost of Ian, the paranormal one. Phantom Menace, some people call him. Ian, how you doing? How's life?
Just me. I'm the only one who calls me Phantom Menace. I'm cool with it. Of course I am, because
you came up with it.
I'm the one who did it. How am I doing in life, you said?
Yeah, how's life going?
Fucking busy, dude. Jesus, man. School and work and like trying to juggle literally everything else, like a social life. It's it's hard. Life's hard. But you know what? It's cool. Just chilling, you know.
What have you been up to lately?
Not much. Been watching some animes, been reading some mangas, been trying to get a couple movies in when I can. That's about it. I guess the only rec I have is The Long Kiss Goodnight, which is like a Walmart brand fugitive.
It's not Walmart brand.
No, I give it a lot of credit because it was like the first to do the whole female espionage kind of genre thing, which was really cool to see. And especially Gina Davis, who I had a big crush on.
Gina Davis is a babe.
Dude. Yeah. League of Their Own, Stuart Little, absolute MILF. But yeah, she's a really great actress too, and I really liked the movie quite a bit. Doesn't hold a candle to The Fugitive, not even close.
No, not even close.
It's enjoyable. It's really good.
Cool. What's going on in your social life? Because I know that you used to be like kind of
that caught me off guard.
We got a lot of shorts we got to go over, Kyle.
You used to not have too many friends either. You used to be kind of like a recluse, and so now like how is that? Look, so you're getting into. I've known Ian for a while now, so now you're getting into your early 20s. Mid-20s, almost late 20s. I lied. You're not early 20s anymore. I've just known you for so long. I still think of you in your early 20s.
Yeah. You knew me before I was. You knew me when I was 19, a teenager.
It's true. It's true.
And you kept telling me to grow up, so we could drink together. So
yeah, and then but being in your mid, going into late 20s now, what do you find is the most difficult change socially than you had when you were in your late teens, early 20s?
It's a lot easier to make friends because I just don't care anymore. In a way, like I'm just pretty open to almost everyone. I'm pretty friendly at work, and I have a bunch of groups there. And I kind of just I realized that if I'm gonna spend like 40 hours at work, I'm practically at work more than I'm like have off time at my house. So I'll just make it worth going to, you know. I'll make friends, and I hang out with my friends outside of work. So, yeah, it's easier.
It's that classic saying, like when you're at work. Like I tell my coworkers, I'm like, dude, I'm with you guys more than I'm with my friends and family.
Yeah.
So like, we might as well like try to like each other. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I get that. Okay. The older you get, at least for me, I could relate. You definitely like start to just go with the motions and stop like fighting back against everything as much. So that's cool. I'm glad you're doing good. Brendan, Mr. Fantastic, just back from fighting Dr. Doom himself. How are you doing, Brendan Jesus?
I am good. Thank you for asking.
What's been going on in your life? How was your weekend? I know that you just had a special someone over.
Yeah. We've been playing God of War Ragnarok, as well as we've been peppering in some Not For Broadcast. Now that Not For Broadcast is finally fully updated, you can actually complete the game. So I'm excited to. I bought it a month ago, and it's been so buggy it's been unable to be completed. Loving God of War Ragnarok, super fun. Not very hard. I thought it was going to be a little harder. It's not.
No, that game's pretty easy actually.
Yeah, but. Yeah. Good game. The one interesting thing that I have had going on in my life is I got to go to my first ever press screening for Sisu, and it was bad fucking ass. That type of audience will ruin you from ever going to a theater audience again. It's such a completely different vibe. It's almost like a film festival vibe. So I loved it. And also, last thing, saw Evil Dead Rise in theaters. Fucking great.
Damn.
I might see that today. I might. I was going to go yesterday, but I was too busy. But
so fun.
Cool. All right. Give me your quick review of Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. Boomsticks, chainsaws, buckets of blood. Dead Before Dawn reference.
Dead Before Dawn reference. Is that a movie?
Like ripping out my earbuds.
Dead Before Dawn is what the 2003 PlayStation 2 Evil Dead game was called. Yeah, and I have a copy of that signed by Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi, because Ted Raimi plays his sidekick in the game. Super fun game. Terribly made, but super fun game.
You got the game signed?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like the cover art.
That's really cool.
I remember... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
How many times have you interacted with Ted Raimi in your life, Brendan?
Twice. And one of the times, as I've said before, and we're not blocking it, he got me fucking wasted when I was underage.
Allegedly. That's cool.
I don't believe it.
I got a video game signed by a famous person. I got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 on PS1 signed by Tony Hawk. So
I took a photo and I need to send it to you, Kyle. But I went to the record store yesterday for record store day. And one of the vinyls that they had, I almost bought it. It was the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack.
Oh, that's a banger,
on vinyl. It was a blue vinyl, and it
I would have bought it.
It had it was $120, which is why I didn't. But it had all the good fucking tracks on it. It's so hard not to buy it, but I have a photo. I need to send it to you.
Dude, yeah, that would have been I would have been debating in my head for a while, I'm just gonna whip out the credit card on this.
I can eat ramen for a couple weeks. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad to hear you both are doing well. Life is treating you good. You guys seem healthy. Very happy about that. I have been going on a Scream franchise rewatch, which is really fun, really cool. I haven't seen 3 and 4 in quite a while. 3 in a very long time. I haven't seen 3 since high school, probably, which was 47 years ago. So Scream 3, loved it. It was fun. It's probably my second favorite in the franchise, honestly. I love the cameos in that. It's got Jay and Silent Bob in it. It's got Carrie Fisher in it. It's got so many cool little cameos. And that movie is just really fun. And the whole LA setting, they really just play with it. And dude, I love it. And I actually like the twist at the end, the killer. I thought it was a little bit over the top, but so is Hollywood. Brendan.
How many lines of coke do you think Carrie Fisher had to do to get through one day of shooting that?
At least 3 or 4. At least 3 or 4. But teachers
deserved. It's deserved.
Yeah. Also rewatched Scream 4. Liked it more than I did when I first watched it. I feel like watching them back to back like this, you kind of have more of an appreciation for what he's trying to do with the sequelizations and playing with that. Scream 2 still sucks, but I am excited for Scream 5 again. I think I might even like it more than I did in theaters, which I didn't hate it. It wasn't amazing to me. But I'm excited to rewatch that, which is also going to be probably today.
I feel like Scream 4 was so, because we waited 10 years, and it's so tonally different, because the first one, obviously it's very serious, but there's also that really tongue-in-cheek nature of it. I feel like Scream 4 kind of loses that cheekiness about it and kind of just goes at it as a horror film rather than almost a kind of a horror comedy.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does get less there's less comedy elements for sure. But I just think it's a cool idea, and I think Wes Craven might be the only one that I could think of that might have made a remake to his own franchise. He kind of remade his own franchise with that.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice, because he also did he didn't do
A New Nightmare,
Last
right?
House on the Grave.
Oh,
wait.
Last House on the Grave?
Last
On the
House
grave?
Jesus Christ.
No, but yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. And I hate going to the movies now, so I hope that Evil Dead Rise is good. I'm looking forward to it. I might see it today, but I always talk myself out of going just because I get lazy. But we'll see. But I'm also looking at wedding venues, guys.
That means like location, right?
Yeah, like where we're gonna have the wedding and shit
is
like
it,
that.
Is it gonna be in Arizona, or are you gonna move it to Cali?
I think we're gonna. I mean, I wouldn't go to Cali, but I would do it in Arizona. That's what we've been looking for anyway. But we're gonna try to do it on Friday the 13th in October.
So. Of this year?
In October.
Yeah, of this year.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I'll put my time off request in now.
Oh yeah, no, you're invited, Ian. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see.
I could be the flower person.
No, you both are invited.
There's a strict no ghosts allowed policy at this venue.
No paranormal ones allowed. Today we are talking about a anthology film. We've covered the first film with guest host Georgie and Ian in the past. It was a good episode. You should go check it out if you want to check out ABCs of Death 1. But today we're covering the 2014 film ABCs of Death 2. The budget was roughly $130,000, and the way I calculated that is each filmmaker was given $5,000 to make their short film. So it was probably a little bit more than $130,000 with like advertising and stuff like that, but that was just like the rough estimate based on what they allotted each director. It premiered in 17 theaters, making a total of only $4,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So we know it's doesn't have a great critical reception.
Holy.
I still would like to see another ABCs of Death. I think this is a very fun idea.
I have news on that.
I really, really like this idea, and I kind of wish they would make another one.
There's ABCs of Death 2.5 is like
it's all the because they held a contest for the letter M in this movie. In the top 26 that didn't get into ABCs of Death 2 is in 2.5.
Oh, so does 2.5 have its own set of 26 films?
It's only the letter M.
Just the letter M.
So the best short from all those made it into this one?
Yeah. And that was Masticate, the one where the guy's on bath salts.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. M for Masticate. Runner up for sure. Spoilers.
Zombies.
I love zombies. Okay, so I think the way we're going to do this is I'm just going to give a rundown of each letter in the film, a brief description, and maybe a little bit of facts about the directors. But first, Brendan, we have our first ever new segment, Fear Facts.
So to give you guys a little sneak peek at what I'm going to do, I've got two things lined up for you. I wrote a little bit of an acrostic. It's an acrostic poem. It's also kind of half slam poetry. And after that, I will follow up with my my facts about this film. So here we go. A film by 26 filmmakers. Buckets of blood to grace the screen. Chaos cascades for 2 straight hours. Dozens of talented voices. Larry Fessenden, to name my favorite. Every short, a new chance of terror. From America to Japan, we cover a bevy of countries. Good, bad, and everywhere in between. These films range in quality and quantity. How do you feel about these shorts? I'm not going to spoil it yet. Just know it's not as good as the first one. Kills galore, and even more. Light in substance, heavy on gore. Many filmmakers entered, only few will score. Never a dull tale, this film will bend. Only the strong will make it to the very end. People will die, people shall pass. Questions of some, we sure will ask. Reaping rewards, we've already basked. Short after short, this film is historical. Too many, some ask, a question rhetorical. Universally panned, critically bad. Very much agree, the fun I have had. What are your thoughts? Xenial, Yuzu, Zanzibar. I couldn't think of an X, Y, or Z for that one. So that's my little ABCs of Death poem.
F is for fear facts.
ABCs of Death 2 was a highly anticipated film for me in college. I was following Magnet very heavily, and I was so excited when this came out. ABCs of Death was created by the spectacular Ant Thompson, who was a producer on such films as Deathgasm, Turbo Kid, Censor, which I really liked, and he was the writer-director of the one and only film Come to Daddy, which I didn't know that fact. I thought that was cool. And it was also created by Tim League, who is, and this is absolutely insane, he's the co-founder of such things as Mondo, Neon Cinema, Fantastic Fest, and none other than the Alamo Drafthouse itself. This film has quite the legacy behind it, I would say. These two genre-loving people would take their love of all facets of cinema by giving 26 directors $5,000 to in full creative control to create this sequel to their very popular first film. From first-time filmmakers to genre legends, ABCs of Death 2 is a melting pot of horror lovers from all around the globe. Some of the filmmakers include one of the two members of the Mighty Boosh, Julian Barrett, the Twisted Twins themselves, the Saska sisters, writer-director of the insane Israeli film Big Bad Wolves, Navet Papu Shadu. I think I mispronounced that, sorry. Academy Award nominee Bill Plimpton. The creator of Cube itself, Vincenzo Natali. And my personal hero, Larry Fessenden. Due to illegal pirating of the second film, Ian, this film was not able to succeed financially, and therefore there is a third ABCs of Death in the works, but it is still in development hell, and it has been for 5 years. So if that will come, that's still up in the air. Unlike the first film, a contest went along with this film for the letter M. Anyone could submit a short film, with the winner having their film, which happened to be Masticate, included in ABCs of Death 2. A semi-sequel would come out 2 years later, ABCs of Death 2.5. I know we just covered this. I probably shouldn't recover it. Featuring 26 shorts from the contestants that almost made it into the film itself, all with the letter A. We are talking ABCs of Death 2. A is for fucking awesome.
All right, boys. Well, let's get right into it. So I think what we'll do is, as we're going down the list, just go ahead and shout out which is in your top 3. They don't have to be in any specific order. Mine aren't. I didn't rank them 1 to 3, but you can if you'd like. And then you can also put the 3 you like the least for any particular reason. Also, doesn't have to be ranked. Let's get right into it. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
C whatever.
A is for Amateur, directed by E.L. Katz. Evan Luis Katz is an American film director, producer, and screenwriter. He's best known for his directorial debut, Cheap Thrills, 2013.
Fucking awesome.
Now, this is about an assassin who's hired to kill a notorious drug dealer. The assassin makes it to the building, crawls through the air vents, and kills his target. This, however, turns out to be a fantasy, and when he gets to the air vents, they are realistically small, dirty, and covered with sharp objects. The assassin gets stuck and bleeds to death. 3 weeks later, the smell of rotting flesh leads to the drug dealer's apartments, and then he falls from the air vents, causing his gun to go off and kill his target. What do you guys think?
So I rated all of these. So I will give my rating for every single one of these. I give this a 6 out of 10. Cool. Which doesn't necessarily mean I didn't like it. I thought it was actually pretty funny. I liked the dark humor side of it. But that's really about it. I feel like it could have had a little more humor to really drive it home. But no, I think it's nice and short and sweet. And yeah, I give it a D.
I really like E.L. Katz, and what I appreciate about Amateur is that it feels a lot tonally different from his other stuff. So I really enjoy it. I like the concept. I like the execution. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say a 7 out of 10.
That's solid.
You're going to hear me say this a lot throughout this episode, but I think A for Amateur, I think playing off the word amateur, this was a very creative kind of short. I think it was pretty funny as well, and I just like the directing style of this short. I think it looks really good, and yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It did not make my list though of favorites or honorable mentions.
No, me neither. It was a solid opener though. I would say.
I agree. So we'll move on to B is for Badger, directed by Julian Barrett. Julian Barrett is a British film and television actor, comedian, musician, and music producer, best known for playing Howard Moon in the cult comedy The Mighty Boosh. The first found footage short, Peter Tolan, a rude, narcissistic wildlife documentary director, constantly berates his crew as he tries to report on the local badgers that have presumably been killed off by waste from a nearby power plant.
This is like a Walmart brand Ratma segment. That's what it felt like to me. I did like the gore at the end. I thought that was probably the best from this short. But the acting was like kind of dumb, and I wish it pulled him into the hole a little quicker. It kind of looked very awkward when he got like sucked into the hole. But I give this a 6 out of 10. No hard.
Enjoyable. I like how this is the second one. This is the first of 2 shorts in this film that will have a oneer in it. The other one is the one with the guys on the island. But I love how there's kind of this one take feeling to it, so that it does just feel like it was pulled off an SD card when they were, unloading their dailies. So I really like that almost that realistic aspect of it, and I think that it's short, it's sweet, it gives us the gore, and it's out. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and I would 6. Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
I like the segments that are short and sweet. I put in parentheses Christian Bale for this one because it just reminded me of that whole interaction. If you know, you know. But yeah, this was fun. I kind of wish it showed the badger. Like, if you get a little bit like a...
That's what it was missing.
Like a practical effect of the badger, that would have been cool. But yeah, this one was good. It didn't make it on my list of favorites. C is for Capital Punishment, directed by Julian Gilby. Julian Gilby is a British film director, editor, screenwriter, actor, cinematographer, makeup artist, and costume designer. Best known for his segment in this film, ABCs of Death 2.
I'll start because this is one of my 3 favorites, and this is also the one that I would like to see made into a feature.
We got our first feature.
I love small town films like Population 432. Like the idea of these small towns, while they are still governed by our law, or I guess British law, they kind of take justice into their own hands. So I think it would have been cool as a feature. It would be cool to see, the first 20 minutes of this guy moves to this new small town, and then he's somehow implicated in this girl's disappearance because he's the new guy in town. And then it kind of follows the small town justice of them torturing him day in, day out. And then towards the end, he's finally like, fuck it, I did it. And then right as they kill him, obviously, we find out that the girl's alive. I think that this could be an excellent feature film.
It's funny, I knew this was going to be in your top 3, because this is not in my bottom 3, but I did give it a 4 out of 10. It doesn't really have a good, a plot twist. He just didn't kill the girl, and then they just, it's very straightforward. I mean, we've seen this kind of movie several times, so I don't know. If you like that genre, I totally get it, but no, this one just didn't do anything for me. I did like how they kept hacking at his head and not just like a clean chop. That was
and the one guy says, Jesus Christ, and the pastor's like, whoa, okay guys, come on, let's chill out.
Like, that's where the line was drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did like the practical effects a lot. They didn't cut away, which was really cool. This gave me like Kill List vibes, honestly.
But, I thought it was directed by Ben Wheatley, actually.
Yeah, it definitely had that look. Ian, did this make your bottom list?
It did not. It is not one of my bottom 3.
Got you. Well, cool feature choice, Brendan. I dig it. We're going to move on to D is for Delouse, directed by Robert Morgan. Robert Morgan He is a director and writer known for ABCs of Death 2 and The Cat with Hands. Sorry, I made some typos. And The Cat with Hands, 2001. D for Delouse. It's a stop motion animated short. A man is being held prisoner in a chamber strapped to a table. A trio of loused, covered, fleshy ghouls enter the room and kill the man. Use a needle-tipped vacuum-like tube. As they leave, one of the ghouls swats and crushes a louse, and from its remains, a giant louse soon emerges. If you've seen the movie,
you get it.
It's hard.
You get it. You're listening to this episode, so I'm hoping you've seen the film. How do you guys feel about this short?
I'll go first because Brendan's going to shit on it. This is my number one. It is a 10 out of 10 for me. I love stop motion. It's my favorite type of art form. This is so weird and disturbing, and the graphics are gross, and the lighting is actually really cool in this one too. It's got a lot of reds and blues and like cutoffs and for the screen. It's a really good one. I didn't understand it, but I loved it. I loved every single second of it. Even the score. I loved. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
I conversely am not a fan of stop motion. Something about it just makes me feel awful inside. I can't watch it. I've come across a couple short films by this guy in film festivals that I've covered, and every single time I'm like, fuck, I have to write something about it. And I don't like this art style. I know it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. It's an amazing art form. I just don't like it, and I can't stand Deloused. This is not my least favorite, but this is 23. No, it's 24. I'm sorry, because this is at the top of my least favorite 3.
I thought this looked really cool. This was actually in my honorable mentions. More specifically, not honorable mentions in top 3, but honorable mentions as a feature. But it's not my feature. I think this would be really cool as maybe like an hour 10, hour 20 feature film. I want to know more of what's going on, and I do think the animation is super impressive. I agree with Ian. The colors look really, really cool. The transition of going in between that inner monster thing was really interesting, and I just thought it kept my I don't think I blinked the entire time. I just thought it was really, really cool looking.
I also want to say it looked a lot similar to the Sober video by Tool.
Yeah, a little bit actually.
And I looked it up, and they're not by the same person, I don't think. But
the sound design is absolutely insane for it.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to E is for Equilibrium. I put in parentheses Bros Before Hoes, directed by Alejandro Bruges. Sorry if I mispronounced any of the names that we're going to cover today. Best known for Nightmare Cinema and Juan of the Dead. He directed both of these.
Juan of the Dead.
From Cuba, 2 castaways lead a dull life when one day a young woman washes up on the beach. 2 take care of her, and she brings them back to a civilized state, with her falling in love with a younger castaway. The older castaway soon grows jealous and sabotages their growing love. What do you guys think?
I give this one a 5 out of 10. I think it's okay. Not much horror going on, but I subtracted 1 point because it was called Equilibrium and didn't include Christian Bale or Gung Fu. So that cost the short point for me.
This one is fine. I don't have any problems with. Don't hate it, don't love it. I do like the one shot in it though. I think it's very creative how they were able to tell an entire story or an entire time lapse within one take. So it's very impressive for what it was.
I was going to bring up the time lapse. I love when directors are able to show a progression of time without cutting. I love that. I love that in films. They just did it actually, we just saw it in Dead Silence when the kid's running down the stairs, but it's really the old man. He's retelling himself as a boy when he saw the thing, the show of her, of Mary Shaw. And I love when directors do that, and I think it's really impressive. That being said, this is in my least 3. I think that the lack of horror elements is kind of a problem for me, and I just wasn't really interested in what was going on screen. But it did have some cool takeaways, like I said, about the time lapse. So this is one of my 3 least favorites. Moving on to F is for Falling, directed by Aaron Keshalis and Navit Papashado. They are Israeli film director and screenwriter who grew up in Leesmore, best known for the 2021 Netflix film Gunpowder Milkshake. It's about an Israeli female paratrooper. She wakes up stuck in a tree and is found by an Arab boy. The boy threatens to shoot her due to them being enemies, but the woman reasons to the boy to instead cut her down and take her to his commander. Some things ensue. He gets shot falling from the tree, and she gets held responsible at the end. What do you guys think of this one?
This is my number 3 on my least favorite. The only thing I really like about it is the practical bone breaking. Other than that, I can't really say too much on this one. It was in the movie, and it wasn't a horror film, so that was cool.
Knowing what the writers and directors of this film did with their 2013 film Big Bad Wolves, which is one of Tarantino's favorite films, this one gets my honorable mention for a feature because I think based on what they did in Big Bad Wolves, I would love to see how the relationship of this boy and this woman, what trials they would have gone through if he didn't die while falling out of the tree. I think that'd be interesting for these 2 filmmakers to explore.
I don't have much to say about this film. It is in my 3 least favorite. Again, I just wasn't really into what was going on and the lack of horror elements again. I just don't think this one was very interesting or creative. But shout out to Brendan's honorable mention feature. The next is G for Granddad, directed by Jim Hosking, best known for his 2016 film The Greasy Strangler, which is what they used to call me in high school.
Oof.
From the United Kingdom, a rude young man who has been living with his grandfather for a year is exasperated by his grandfather's retro taste and lifestyle. They prepare for bed as the young man mocks his grandfather. However, the young man is horrified to learn that his grandfather lives under his bed and dresses just like him. He stabs his grandson in the neck before revealing that it cuts off.
I'll start. I am not absolutely loving it. I fucking hate this. I hate this. I hate this so much. This is my least favorite one.
Funny.
I hate the Greasy Strangler. I hate everything about it. And even without knowing who made this short, it feels like the Greasy Strangler. And I hate this man's style. I hate his ideas. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I hate everything about this. Everything.
I gave this one. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. I quite enjoyed this one. I thought it was freaking hilarious, and super weird. And like the facial expressions from the son or from the grandson was uncalled for and unnecessary, but it was just funny. It was funny to look at. And the twist of the granddad being in the bed just made no sense, but it was just all, I don't know, just felt like a joke to me. No, so in not an offensive way, or in an offensive way.
So this is my choice for feature film, and this is also in my top 3. I thought this was hilarious, and when he opens the blanket and there's the indentation of the grandpa's body where he sleeps, I thought that was really funny to me. But I would love to see this turn into a feature film where this guy just kills his grandson and then just like slowly tries to like incorporate himself into all of his grandson's life with his friends, with his girlfriend, with his family, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and then dyes her, and then like just really commit to being that person, and everybody just goes along with it.
And I might watch that.
I just think this was super creative. they could have done anything with G, and I would not have expected for a horror film to go with Granddad. I just thought it was really funny and creative. So this is in my top 3, and is also the one I'd like to see as a feature film. So we're going to move on to.
Well, Brendan has a.
Just a super quick question. So you're saying it's better than G for Gravity?
Jesus. We are not going to give. We need to stop giving screen time to that fucking short.
The fact that you even mentioned it is a problem. So we're going to move on to H is for Head Games, directed by Bill Plympton. Bill Plympton is an American animator, graphic designer, cartoonist, director, screenwriter, and producer. Best known for his 1987 Academy Award-nominated animated short, Your Face, and his series of shorts, Guard Dog, Guide Dog, Hot Dog, and Horn Dog. In this film, an animated short, a man and a woman kiss until their tongues, eyeballs, and other features become weapons blasting at each other. The short ends with both of their heads now containing big holes as the two collapse.
I'll go first. This is my number 2 for my least favorites. Good on whoever likes this art style. I am not a fan. It looks like Yoshi's Yarn World. No, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. And there wasn't gore. It was like pink. It just wasn't for me.
Nice shout out to Yoshi's Yarn World, though.
Yeah,
Brennan.
Ian, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. It didn't make my bottom 3, very close to my bottom 3. And my issue with this is kind of like my issue with Deloused. I can understand how much time and effort the art style is, and it's a beautiful art style, even if it's viscerally like. I hate it. I just the art style is beautiful. I just don't really think that it stands out too much in this movie.
Yeah,
in a bad way.
This, like, to Brennan's point, is one of my. It's not in my least 3, but it's like the honorable mention, like right outside of it. Not because I hated the art style. I thought the art style was actually kind of cool. It just did absolutely nothing for me, and I have no feelings towards it whatsoever. So with that being said, we're going to move on to I is for Invincible, directed by Eric Maddie. Eric Maddie is a Filipino filmmaker. He is known for directing On the Job 2013, Honor Thy Father 2015, among many more, and co-founded the production company Reality Entertainment. This is from the Philippines, and a family has the matriarch tied up to a chair as they stab, shoot, and poison her in an attempt to gain their inheritance. She offers a stone that she keeps in her mouth that curses her with invincibility, but the family refuses. Eventually, one of the inheritors sets her on fire as the family figures out how to split the inheritance. Ian, talk to me.
Why me? I give this one a 4 out of 10. It didn't really do anything for me. I know it's Asian, but there's no real like reason for them to, I guess, get the inheritance, or like they looked well off. I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. I didn't like the effects or anything. So 4 out of 10. That's what they get.
The fact that they didn't call this I for Inheritance.
Yes, that was my main problem with it. I was like,
automatically 7 stars off.
Yes.
It pisses me off so much. Even rewatching it last night, I was like, oh, this one's I told Lucy, I was like, this one's I for Inheritance. I for Invincible. Okay, fuck off. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
Dom and I were trying to guess the words before they popped up on screen at the very end too, and we inheritance, like what? And they're like, I for Invincible, and I was like, you fucking fucks. So yeah, this didn't make my bottom 3, but I just wasn't a fan of the concept and the word they chose to go with. It was just okay to me, but I didn't hate it. It was just fine. Okay, let's move on to J for Jesus, directed by Denison Ramalho. He's best known for his short in the ABCs of Death 2, actually. There wasn't much on him. But J is for Jesus is from Brazil. It's about a young man who was kidnapped by evangelist, I can never say that word, and a reverend for being gay. After being hired by the man's father, they imply to the man that his lover was killed by them as they torture him to convert the young man. he sees them as horrific monsters. Brennan, talk to me.
I like the idea of it, and it had me up until the point where we see the spirit or demon of his lover. Something about it feels very CG, even though I know it's not, and I just can't get past that visual distinction of the main guy versus his dead lover, and it's just so like visually uncomfortable for me. So I'm not a fan. Like the idea though.
This was my honorable mention for feature film. I think I would like to see this one as a full length film rather than a short. I like angels and demons and that sort of thing. So this one had some cool visuals, and I liked how the demons looked. They were kind of grotesque with the I don't know if there were horns all over their faces or what they had.
Oh yeah.
Some borals or boils, whatever they called. Yeah, it was good. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah, this was one of my honorable mentions for just being on my top 3 list. I thought this visually looked really, really cool. I like the concept. I like the play for the word. They could have gone so many different ways with Jesus, but I like how they took the approach of kind of the dark side of religion, and that word, which makes sense in a horror film, but I just like the way they used it. And I actually liked the way the boyfriend looked in his form, and how he kind of came in and just like fuck shit up. I thought that was really cool.
And I like how they were crucifying him and he was turning into the actual Jesus. Like his hands had holes in them and his face was getting bloody. That was it was cool.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving on to K is for Nell. I apologize in advance again if I mispronounce any of these names, but directed by Christina Buziti and Bruno Samper. Christina is a Lithuanian film director, screenwriter, and editor. In her early films, she focused on women, explored their inner world, and depicted them using fantasy elements. Her last and so far best known film, Vanishing Waves, is described as a hypnotic, sensual sci-fi experience and sexually explicit sci-fi tale, which was rewarded with 22 international awards in Europe and North America. It's about a girl. Well, Kay's Hernell is now about a girl painting her toes in her apartment when she notices that a black liquid sphere floats in the sky near the adjacent building. Suddenly, the people living in it go berserk, brutally fighting each other. The survivors then stare at her through her windows. She realizes that the strange black liquid is slowly taking over her building, and she cannot escape. Brennan.
For some reason I thought that this one was K is for kinetic. Because I kind of like that title better. This one is super dope. I love this one. I guess I would give it an honorable mention. It tells you everything about the black liquid that it needs to tell you, and that's it. There's no dialogue. It's just I think it's super cool.
I'm going to play off that real quick. This is in my top 3 favorite. I love the visual style of this film. I think she does an excellent job at portraying the brutality, but from like a third person perspective, seeing it from way in a distance from where she's at. And when they all turn and face her, it's such a menacing feeling of just like she has nowhere to go and she's fucked. And it's only a matter of time before this thing takes her over. And it gave me like really like uncomfortable vibes, kind of like in 28 Days Later when he goes inside the church and he makes like a little noise and then they all stand up and just like stare at him. It was very uncomfortable, and I just really fucking loved the way this film looked.
Yeah, this one's a 3 out of 10 for me. Didn't really do anything for me. I like the visual style in the beginning, but whatever Brendan did was way more entertaining than this film.
Oh yeah. Oh, Kyle, you missed that. I was doing.
He was spitting too. You missed it.
I spat.
I'm switching between screens so I didn't see it. So we're gonna move on to L is for Legacy, directed by Lancelot Oduwa Imaswoon. Sorry if I said that wrong. Not really good with Nigerian, but he is a Nigerian director and film producer. Not much on this guy. But basically, it's about a man who is tasked by his queen to sacrifice the prince so that a woman of their village can have more male children. He refuses and instead kills a rat and bathes in the sword's blood. In retaliation, the demon appears in the village and slaughters many of the people. Ian, talk to me.
All right, hear me out.
Okay.
This is the only one that I have with a heart next to it. I did give it a 5 out of 10. I did give it a 5 out of 10 though, but it does have a heart. And I wanted to put this as my feature film because I would 1,000% watch an hour and a half version of this. I love watching dumpster fires. It is probably one of my favorite things to do. And this had just enough to keep me interested. I was like, what do they do? It's so bad, but like, I can't turn my head. Like it was just it's hard to explain, but I really like this one. I really like this one.
I love how so far we have such opposite opinions, and also sometimes we agree, because this is my runner-up for feature film.
Oh.
I love the way the monster looks. I think it's kind of like what you said. I couldn't like look away, and then like half the time I was watching with like my mouth half open because I was like confused on what was happening, but also like really intrigued. And I was just like, what is going on? But I love the way it looked, and I wanted to see more for some reason. I can't explain it either. I'm right there with you, Ian. It didn't make my top 3, but it did make my runner-up for feature film. Brennan talked.
I don't know how familiar you guys are with Nollywood, which is the Nigerian
Yes.
Hollywood. In the mid 2010s, this guy was a very heavy hitter in the Nollywood scene. And while Ian, you said this film's a dumpster fire, it is. But
Yeah.
I think I would also give this one a heart because
Yes.
the passion and the energy that these Nollywood filmmakers have, they're using very little. They have they have very this early 2010s Nollywood, they had very bad computers to edit on, and so just like the drive and passion that, this is going to sound so cheesy, that cinema can literally land anywhere and it can be made anywhere is so beautiful, I think. So this one, Ian, I scoffed initially. This one has to get a heart because there's just the passion behind it is incredible.
So I
Hell
know
yeah.
this may be premature, but I think we're just going to go ahead and give L for Legacy the Ruminations of Redrum official honorable mention of the film.
Yep.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's go, bro. This is the one that I wasn't exactly sure was going to be on anyone's list, and
Okay, you're getting ahead of yourself. M is for
I'm so happy.
Masticate, directed by Robert Buchek. I don't have any information on him, unfortunately, but it's from the United States. A man credited as himself is seen running down the street in his underwear in slow motion. He shoves many civilians out of the way before attacking and biting the ear off of a bystander. It turns out that he's taken bath salts. That's the twist. Brendan, you go first on this.
I like these recreations of true stories. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's a little bit more flair to this one than I think the real story. Actually, no, the real story is pretty fucking crazy, honestly. So, it's fun. A fat guy, a sweaty fat guy running down the street with a huge piss stain on his tighty whities, and then he eats someone's face. It's hysterical. This is one of my top 3.
Top 3? Oh, it's in your top 3.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
Holy guacamole. Yeah, I remember when this story first happened. I was in middle school, and I remember hearing it on the like kids news network. But I gave this.
Wait, the kids news network was talking about the guy who took bath salts and
Yeah, and they also talked about like Four Loko overdoses and stuff like that. It was, I
interesting.
don't know. It was for mature kids, Kyle. 5 out of 10 though for this one.
I like any music video-esque type film, like when they play with the music in creative, fun ways. I thought this was just a fun, interesting film. I was right from the beginning, I was thinking it was like a zombie-esque type film, but when they did the bath salts approach, I thought that was clever and funny. I do like the play on Masticate. It was good. It did not make my top 3 or even an honorable mention, but it almost did. It almost made honorable mention.
I was actually looking at my notes incorrectly. This one got an honorable mention, not a star. So this is not in my top 3, but it's close. Sorry.
Cool. Wow, that was a long one. That was a doozy. What you just listened to was our ABCs of Death 2 Part 1 episode. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we're going to have Part 2 for your ear holes. Ian, are you looking forward to your favorite one, which is S?
S. Oh man, I gotta look at my notes. S is definitely my favorite one. S for sexicles. Can't wait to go over that one. Join us, please. Join us for the last remaining numbers of alphabets.
Brennan, is Part 2 better than Part 1, or should they just tune out now?
I have a feeling Part 2 is going to be a lot more substantial than Part 1. And also, you get to hear me talk about Larry Fessenden for like 4 straight minutes, so why would you want to miss that?
And we didn't forget about your favorite game, What's in the Box. We'll see you next week, guys and gals.